As the third element of this oath that I propose, a teacher will enthuse a student into wanting to learn and recognize that every new generation needs to be wiser than the one that has preceded it. Now, as I said, I have said nothing new in proposing this. However, this is what goes to the fundamentals of education and pedagogy in Pakistan. And so if we want to change things, we'll have to begin somewhere, and I propose that we begin from Beaconhouse.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hoodbhoy. I think that's an excellent suggestion, and we should definitely take it on board. If nothing else, it will at least have a major psychological impact. I think we're going to start to draft an oath for our teachers. But now that we're getting into the discussion or question and answer session of this panel, I just want to come back to Dr. Hawley and sort of link it with the remark that you made about how, the key difference that you see between the US and Pakistan is that because over here relationships are fixed, and that's something we were discussing just the other day, that there is this issue of the teacher almost being somebody who you cannot question. It's considered disrespectful. So in the context of your comments about learning communities and teacher scholars and students learning from teachers and vice versa, how do you feel that could work in a context like ours in Pakistan, in light of Dr. Hoodbhoy's thoughts?
Well, I think I like the oath very much, and I think that makes an enormous amount of sense, not only here, but that would be very good in the United States as well. How do I think this would work here? The learning communities.
Learning communities, because as we discussed yesterday, perhaps the premise behind learning communities is is the recognition that one doesn't know everything, and that it's possible that a student may possibly know more than you do as a teacher. So I'm just wondering if in fact what Dr. Hoodbhoy says is true, that this is the key difference, since the genetic makeup of students in Pakistan and those in the US is probably the same, but if the key difference is the relationship between the teacher and the student and the flexibility or lack thereof, then do you think that we can try to bring that flexibility into our education system in Pakistan, perhaps by, retraining teachers in some way?
I think, and I am speaking from not very much understanding of Pakistan, and that's one of the things that I'm here to learn more about. But I'm thinking of one of the projects that some of us from Ohio will be talking about is called Igniting Streams of Learning in Science. And that is a project that we have had for 3 years where we bring together learning communities comprised of high school students, teachers, undergraduate students, and university professors and field scientists. And one of the things that we do, that we intentionally do, is look at students and teachers as inquirers. And within these learning communities, the teacher is a member of the learning community. The learning community is comprised of, as I said, the high school students and others, and the teacher is not the facilitator of the learning community, but a well-equipped member of the learning community. And what we have found is that many of our teachers, when they first begin, literally have to sit on their hands, and we could tape their mouths shut, because they want to be in there with the students, answering questions and, in a way, taking over, doing what we have been taught to do as teachers. And it takes them, we have 8 to 9 to 12 days of this experience, an immersion in field science, in environmental science. And what we notice is we have the teachers document in blogs what their thoughts are about this process. And very slowly, over the week, they become observers of their students in an entirely different way. And they look on it as a luxury. But at the very beginning, most of them are very, the idea of the student questioning them and their knowledge is an issue. But over time, within this learning community where they're actually focused on trying to solve issues and problems and learn with the students, this very slowly changes. So I think some of the slow ways of helping teachers, supporting teachers to be in different perspectives with students could aid some of this. And the other fact is that there's so much environment within local communities that I think would work well in Pakistan.
Thank you very much. I think we'll just jump to Dr. Shah, because I think what you're saying also has a lot to do with school leadership or educational leadership and the kind of role that the head plays. So, Dr. Shah, do you feel, again, in the context of what Dr. Hoodbhoy and Dr. Hawley mentioned, what kind of a role can the school leader play in basically in getting teachers to recognize that they don't need to be the fountain of knowledge in the classroom?
I think these are really interesting points that have been raised, but we also need to recognize what really the issue is. You see, the point that Dr. Hoodbhoy has raised is, in one way, linked to the system and structures, and in another way, it is linked to values. You see, the relationship between the teacher and the student, what is it based on? Is it structural relationship? In which case it can be authoritarian, it can be something like that. But if the relationship is based on the basis of what they are learning from each other. In the West, we believe that people have more critical learning environment, students engage with learning in a more critical way. But also, we need to recognize that there is an issue of studies and teaching learning being disrupted by students' disruptive behavior. And it's not that sort of environment that we should encourage. What it is that we should develop a mindset in students that the respect is for knowledge, for learning, not for individuals, not for person and personalities. When I always personally associate authoritarianism with lack of confidence and insecurity. Those teachers who don't have enough confidence, who have some sort of insecurity in themselves, they tend to be harsher. They tend to sort of fit people into sort of fit structures that students shouldn't ask questions unless they are unable to answer and they cannot respond to that. I think we have to change the mindsets of people. People's mind need to be open to engaging in critical debate, but respecting knowledge, because that is really the thing towards which we are moving. And we need to create, I recently published a paper which started a lot of debate in the UK about learning environment values, and to what extent is critical debate critical, and where that critical debate from the student becomes disruptive to teaching learning. So we have to recognize what is creative learning environment, what is critical debate, and what is disruption. We don't encourage, shouldn't go for disruptive behavior. I don't think that will be supportive or enhancing to educational learning. And that is, people just tend to swing from one end of debate to the other end of debate. At the one end, it will be just make them sit silently. No, don't ask any question. Sit there and just listen, because we are just pinnacle. We have got everything to deliver. No, nothing. Nobody has everything to deliver. It is an interactive, creative knowledge which we create when we engage with each other, and debate leads to learning, to understanding, to awareness. But on the other hand is that anything that somebody says, is a new thing. It may not be. It can be. It may take us back 100 steps back rather than one step forward.
Thank you.
So that we have to maintain that sort of balance in creating the learning environment. And again, I would say that is where leadership and innovation comes.